All right. Thank you, David Jolly. I want to thank the folks at Center for Spiritual Living and all the people who worked so hard to bring this event together. I also want to introduce our candidates that are running in November that are here in the audience. If I say your name, please stand up. Susanna Pavel, Florida House District 19. Eric Jans, CD6. Ronnie, where's Ronnie? Ronnie Menuchin, CD6. And last but not least, Mark Hegestad. There he is, fans. CD5. Did I miss any? Are there any other candidates here? All right. All right, let's hit the next slide. By the way, this, which was on everybody's chairs, all the multitude of QR codes, that will be in our presentation. We'll discuss it, okay? Just FYI. I'll put this mic here. All right. So, our goal at the DEC is just to have candidates at every single meeting from now until November. We are the third Thursday in the month, and if you all subscribe to the newsletter, you've seen this there. So that is our next one. Rachel Grage of CD5 and Eric Jans of CD6 will be our guest speakers. So then we have additional, you can see here all the ones that we've got lined up. We've got Angie Nixon, who's a candidate for U.S. Senate in April, middle of April. We have Mark Hegestad and Ronnie Menuchin, CD 5 and 6 in May. And Jennifer Jenkins, CD 6 and Thursday, and the rest is TBD. So, and most of you probably know that all of these town halls are streamed and then available on an archive basis on the YouTube channel at St. John's Democratic Party. So you can check that out. Next, okay. There's also a nonpartisan town hall series that we facilitate. We do not influence the content. So far, we have done one on education. Okay, thank you, David Jolly. Workforce housing, another hot topic. The dilemma of faith, that was in December. The environment, that was last week, I believe, at Lewis Auditorium at Flagler College. And our next one is on the price of healthcare in the United States. Okay, Dr. Dawn Francis will give a primer on how healthcare is paid for in the U.S., including also what individuals pay, government programs finance, the role of private insurance, and the influence of pharmaceutical and medical device companies. So please be there for that. We still have tickets available. All right, next slide. Okay, we're going to talk about our ground game. That is this right here. So, Brian, you want to come up? We need everybody. Don't leave them here. If you do, make sure you take your flyer. So, Brian is our data director extraordinaire, and we have several things that we are doing to make Florida a blue state. First of all, Blue Tsunami, I will call it Blue Tsunami, but it is canvassing. So if you only have a limited amount of time, you can download the QR code just for the minivan app, and then there's a training guide. There are people outside tonight that will give you a list number to input into minivan for you to canvass, right? Here, you're gonna need this. It's not on yet. So, show of hands. Who here is canvassed for the Democratic Party here in the... All right! That's what I'm talking about. All right. T-shirt for you. Says vote. All right. And why do we canvass now? Why do we care, about vote by mail? Because that's what we're trying to get people to do, is to sign up for a ballot to receive in the mail. The reason being, and this is true throughout the state, 95% of the Democrats in the state of Florida that sign a vote by mail for their vote by mail ballot, even if they don't vote by mail, if they go early voting on election day, or doesn't matter, 95% of them vote, while only 50% of Democrats who don't do vote by mail vote. It's a huge difference. That's how we're going to win an election. Okay, if you want to build community, next slide. If you want to build community, if you want to meet your Democratic and left-leaning NPA neighbors, this is what you do. You become a street captain. That QR code, it's on your handout. You go there, you request that you want to be a street captain. You input what your neighborhood will be. And this gentleman right here will send, go ahead. He will send you a list. Is that on? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you just fill out the form, let us know what area you want to cover, and we cut a turf for you. It's basically a list of all the Democrats and left-leaning NPAs in your area. You'll get the list via email and a PDF. You can download Minivan, put that into Minivan and go door to door if you want. You can download Reach and schedule an appointment, and we'll get that in there. It's kind of like a little mini social media for the people in your area. And then there's also house parties. There's lots of things that you can do. And then once a month, we have street captain trainings. So you're welcome to come to those and talk to other street captains about what's working.
Yeah, so we have a street captain meeting coming up. It's next Tuesday, February 24th. I think that's next Tuesday. And it's by Zoom only. So, and the QR code is on your list, and it's also in Mobilize. Any questions? Okay, next slide. All right. House parties. Kathy Hartnett, Director of Fundraising, loves these. Okay, they are a great recruitment team. I think you're good. And just so you know, the St. John's Democratic Party, we are all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. And we only get by and pay our rent and can do what we do through donations. So if you can, a recurring donation makes a huge difference for us, because it tells us that we can pay the rent, do the slate cards, do the things that we want to be able to do. So things that you can do aside from this, every Tuesday, but on a walk-in basis, if you got nothing to do on a Tuesday, come to the office between 11 and 3. That's when it's, you come in and you can do whatever it is that we need to do, So also, if you are at home and you want to do phone banking, there's a QR code for that. You download that. It's set up on your computer. The script is in there. We make it easy. So that you can do without ever leaving your home. You can do it in your pajamas with a cup of coffee. All right, next slide. So it's all hands on deck. All hands on deck. These are the the dates that we have to adhere by. So we only have 5 months to get this done. So please join us. I just cited a whole lot of different ways you can get involved. Please get involved. It's so important. Next slide. All right. Candidate Support Committee. You just met some of the candidates that are declared candidates and are running for office in November 2026. We have a candidate support committee that works with the candidates, and we need people to run for office. Okay, Susanna Pavel has put her hat in for the Florida legislature, the supermajority Florida legislature. All right, we've got a big problem in this state. The SAVE Act, the Florida SAVE Act, you guys know about that yet? We're going to talk about that when we get to the legislative part. But, the time is right for Democrats to win. You just heard about the Miami mayor who won by 19 points. That was in a district where Trump won by 20 points. That's a 39-point swing. So Trump had 55%, and Harris had 44%. So we need people to run for Florida House District, county commissioners, and school board, and then down ballot. Next. Yeah. There's a whole lot of places where you can run. And if you know somebody here that's running for office, you're going to go to the polls and vote for them. And chances are you're going to vote for every other Democrat that's running for office at that time. The woman who runs this committee is Holly Ross. There's her email address. And also Susan Horowitz is part of the Candidate Support Committee. We support our candidates. Next slide. All right. Legislature, Brian, Susan, Val. Okay, these folks all went to Tallahassee 2 weeks ago. So I want them to share with you what happened. Could you click into the link there? That's the HTTP? Yeah. Can you get there? Oh, darn. All right. Well, I can send that out. But why don't you guys talk about the stuff that happened?
You guys, I love a mic, okay? Yeah, so, And we're almost dressed alike, right? So, you guys, going to Tallahassee, this was my second time going to Tallahassee. So I was extremely excited about it. And I had the opportunity to do a couple of things. The first one was to actually sit down with legislators, some of whom I knew before from the previous trip, and then new ones, and actually talk about bills that were of interest to us. Very positive experiences. Something you guys don't know, their aides, those people are really, really smart, really, really friendly, really, really intelligent, and they helped us understand the legislative process. I'm not going to take long, Michelle, I promise.
That's okay. Oh, yeah.
But they did. They really helped us understand how things move through the bill. In one of those sessions, we had the opportunity, because they were telling us about an amendment that was going to happen, and we got to actually go to a full House committee meeting. That was really enlightening. And then going to the subcommittee meetings was even more enlightening. Learned a lot. Go see your legislators. Talk to them. Don't be afraid. They work for us. That's what they're supposed to do, is work for us, right? Let your voice be heard.
Yeah. I'll just add that things that you can do is, and the the flyers that you have codes so that you can get the newsletter. And we send out notices all the time about different things that are happening at the legislature. You know, you think, oh, what's one person, one phone call? When they keep track of all of the calls that they get, all of the postcards they get, everything. And, you know, with the supermajority, certainly it's a big challenge here in Florida. But we sat with Justin Sapp, and we didn't agree with him about almost anything. But by the end of but he was very open and explained, actually he was very useful in explaining the whole process. And at the end he said, look, if you have an argument about something, let me know. So, I mean, you just never know where you might be able to change somebody's heart. But they do keep track of it. They do pay attention to it. So please just continue to do the phone calls, the postcards, whatever communications, 5 calls. I think, I don't know, is that on the slip too? You know, there's lots of ways to reach out, and it's important to do it. Thank you.
Yeah, so what Susan was saying is right. We heard this from both the Democrats and the Republicans. The process is very difficult. It's kind of arcane. And there are so many bills that are introduced every legislative session that they don't look at them until they go to committee. And if they're on the committee, they might read the bill and think about it. If it gets out of committee and goes to the floor, that's when the entire legislative body actually looks at the bills. They really don't pay that much attention unless it's one of their bills. So what I really took away is we need to pressure the people that are on the committees. And I heard that from both sides. So we've set up a system where we can track the bills that we're most interested in, whether it's support or against. And we'll all be sending out updates when it's going to a committee so that we can call and pressure the committee members.
Do you want to speak to a couple of pending legislation that some of the crazy stuff that's pending? All right, who can speak to that? I mean, just briefly.
So there's basically 2 SAVE Acts. I'm sure you've heard the term. There's one that's in Washington that the House has passed and the Senate has not yet. So we really, I mean, we're sending postcards out from the office to every senator. You know, it's not something that you have to just focus on our 2 senators. You can anywhere in the country. It's really important because that act and there's a very similar act in the State House here. Basically, it's going to require everyone who wants to register to vote to prove that they're a citizen. Right now, you have to check a box that says you're a citizen, but you don't have to provide any documentation. You're going to have to provide a passport. Not everybody has a passport.
Right.
Or you're going to have to provide a birth certificate. If your name changed, it's going to be a problem. The birth certificate in the Florida Act, the birth certificate has to be one that was issued by a city or town or county, whatever the government structure is. It can't be just a hospital birth certificate. And I don't know about you, but if you're over 60, you probably have a hospital birth certificate. You probably don't have another birth certificate. So, and they're going to change, in Florida, they're going to change the IDs that you can use when you come to vote. It's going to be a problem for students. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible, horrible stuff. So we really need to fight this. The bill, the state one has passed through, one committee? One committee in the House, and one committee.
2 in the House,
Two in-
2 in the Senate.
Okay, and 2 in the Senate. So they're moving. And I don't want to be negative. Let's keep pushing it and hoping that we can avoid that from happening. I think in Washington, at least that seems to be something that the Senate is probably not going to vote for, I hope.
No. Did you have a question?
No, 13th, the Friday.
It makes sense.
That's the end of the session.
All right. Thank you, guys. Valerie Bird, Susan Horowitz, and Brian Money. Next slide. Okay. Susan mentioned 5 calls. I would urge you all to check out digitaldemocracyproject.org. which is a fabulous site where you can vote and legislators see how all of us feel about a bill. And there's 3 QR codes on the bottom. One is if you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter. The second one, there's other volunteer opportunities aside from the ones I mentioned earlier this evening. And the last one is our donation QR code, and I spoke about that. I mean, yeah, all of this, we need everybody in this room and more to be engaged. Okay, now, next slide.